How's everyone doing today? Shankar Puri here. Today, just like all the other videos, we're going to look at Bitcoin, as well as the S&P 500 and the broader markets to see what's going on. Today, we're going to look at some on-chain metrics to give you guys some insight of where I believe we are in the market. So without further ado, let's dive right into the charts. All right, guys. So right now we have this stock to flow model. It's been floating around for years and years and years. But what I would like you guys to pay attention to is not so much this line here, but just more of the color of the stock to flow. So currently, whenever we are right here, whenever it's dark orange, we're more likely at the beginning of the bull market. So you see every time here we are at the beginning of a bull market down here. So this is a sign that we are at the start of the next bull cycle. Where we're gonna hit, it says here we have a high of over 100K. So I mean, I'm not really gonna put too much stock into where they think it's going to be at the peak of the next bull cycle in 2026. Yeah, so I'm in 2025. But this has been pretty accurate, as if we're looking at this metric as where we are in the actual bull market at the moment. So yeah, we're just at the beginning of the bull market. We look at the pi cycle indicator, and what the pi cycle is, it's just two moving averages that was created, that has been very accurate in timing the tops of Bitcoin. So normally when the pi cycle top has inverted, we have just passed or just about to hit the high of the market. So currently, as these two lines, two moving averages start tightening up, normally the price of Bitcoin does increase. So you can see over here, as it was widening, we were in the bear market over here as well, and as well over here. So here we are tightening up. The bands, the moving averages are actually tightening up, indicating to us that, hey, we are in the beginnings of a bull market, and each bull cycle looks different. So right now, just looking at how everything is moving, this bull cycle, is definitely going to be a lot different. We have a lot of different players, but we are at the beginning of the next bull market. So let's look right here. As per yesterday, I know I just made a video, but you can see that the price is really holding this level that we identified on the daily time frame, right? So higher highs, higher lows. So it's looking like we may just have this double bottom here. But yeah, the price is holding. The price is holding at the moment for Bitcoin. All we're looking for, guys, is if we have the price break down, which is obviously always an opportunity for that. So if we have the price breaking down below here, and then we make a lower low, so the price is showing weakness, we can head lower. That's always an opportunity. But until we actually break below this, there's no concern for us to believe that the price is actually gonna start reversing, right? So that's kind of what we're looking for now. So there's no real concerns at the moment. If you've been buying all the way up here and selling, there's nothing too crazy for you guys to really fantasize over the fear. A lot of people are putting out a lot of fear. All we're looking for is this low. If it gets broken, if we have a retest, or even if we don't have a retest, we just make a lower low, then I would say we are going to be heading down and probably consolidating down, and the price would be just consolidating in this area, which is perfectly fine. If we look at the last bull cycle over here, we had the price, we had this nice run up here, and then the price just consolidated downwards, and then we had the we had the COVID crash, and then the massive rally thereafter, right? So honestly, we could have something similar where we've had this massive rally up, just like here. So we've had this massive nice rally up, you know, and then we had, you know, the price consolidate down for a little bit, and then we head up. So that's definitely a possibility, but we are in the beginning stages of the next bull cycle. So that's really what we are anticipating and the probabilities that we're looking at right now, right? So the S&P 500, not too much has changed, guys. You know, like I said, we were waiting to see what happens on these support levels, and Bitcoin, the S&P 500 looks like, you know, we've had this bullish engulfing right here, looking like a good bounce on the support. So it's looking like it's holding today, but let's see how the price continues to play out over the next over next week, right? We're at a Friday right now, so we'll see how next week is looking. If we look at the TLT still pushing down, you know, the TLT still pushing down, guys. You know, so we have this risk off on the TLT, right? And you know, it's looking good, but we are on the support, getting close to the support area right here, right? So we're on the 4 hour. Let's look on the daily. Yeah, so we're getting on the support area right now. So wouldn't be surprised if we get a bounce back up, but let's see what happens. This has been a really strong downtrend on the TLT. So the 20-year Treasury bonds indicating to us that people are still going risk on. We do have a lot of AI stocks that are you know, hitting big numbers, right? So yeah, and today let's also look at the VIX. So volatility index, we have the VIX right now is, I mean, the VIX is very, very sporadic. So you want to keep in mind, it is moving up. So it's like the fear and greed index for the market, right? So the VIX is pushing up mainly because of what happened with the news with Evergrande. Is that, you know, Evergrande came out yesterday. So of course we would expect the VIX to be making higher highs right now, right? So that's definitely something that we would expect. Keep in mind though, you know, if we look at the VIX, and we have, this was 2020 of February, so this was the COVID crash, right? So this was a COVID crash. Whenever the VIX is spiking up, risk on assets do have, you know, react very poorly to that, because the VIX is saying, you know, we're scared. Everyone in the market is scared. So I'm just gonna overlay Bitcoin and the S&P 500. Bitcoin is in blue, S&P 500 is in orange. So you can see here the VIX spiked all the way up, S&P 500 crashed, and Bitcoin crashed as well, right? So you can, you know, see that even over here, guys, when we had the VIX over here push up right here. So we had the VIX push up here in October of 2022, and around the same time, S&P 500 made a new low. Bitcoin shortly thereafter made a new low, right? So we want to keep in mind that the VIX does give us an indication as well as what's going on in the markets. How's the sentiment of individuals right now? The VIX is very low, the TLT is very low, and normally that's a good sign, guys. That's a very good sign for the markets. But you know, doesn't mean that we can't have an event happen, right? And you can see the VIX 2018, the VIX spiked up. We were heading low, making lower lows, and then the VIX spiked up in 2018, right? So 2018, again, VIX was heading lower, and then spiked up again in 2020. So we are heading lower on the VIX. Lower. we could get a spike up with some news, some crisis or some news. Banks are getting rated lower. Evergrande is going bankrupt. I don't know where you guys are watching this from, but many companies, businesses, and individuals are experiencing tremendous hardship right now. And so you want to keep that in mind as you're investing and as you're looking at this, is that anything can really happen. And though the VIX is trending lower, we could have some sort of crazy news that crashes the market, and then could even be a bigger buying opportunity for Bitcoin and altcoins, right? So you want to keep that in mind and just be very careful when you're investing, because right here, no one was expecting this, right? DCAing, and then boom, price completely catapults. And then, you know what I mean? A lot of people were scared and sold everything, right? So keep that in mind, as we could definitely have something similar where the price comes down and then heads back up. And I will tell you that it will not be long for the price to stay down when we do have a massive sell-off. You have to understand, Bitcoin and technology stocks are deflationary assets. So anything that you're investing in that is technology, new technology, over the long term, it's gonna be a winner. It's gonna be a winner in the market. Anything that's 20, 30 years old that you're investing in, it can be a winner too, but the probability is a lot lower. You're gonna get a lot better returns in technology assets that are moving the world forward. We're not going back to the dollar being on gold. That doesn't make sense, guys. When have we ever gone backwards in society? Never. We always look to do better. So do yourself a favor and make sure you're investing in deflationary assets. The iPhone, before the iPhone, there was cameras, there's video games, there is just a cell phone, but now the iPhone has the camera, video games, everything all in one, a calculator, all of that. So it is eating up the market cap of other industries, right? So that's why the growth of Apple has been so exponential versus many other older companies, right? Is because they are a deflationary product, right? So let's look. 2014, $13. Okay, 2014, $13. It's gone up 1,341%, guys. Come on. That's a lot in 10 years, 9 years. That's a lot, man. So keep these things in mind, guys, is that you need to look for deflationary assets. And at some point, Apple is going to be replaced by something else in some point, maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now. It's just how the world works, guys. So everything eventually goes to zero. Everything eventually goes to zero. The S&P has been around for so long, and even the assets that are in the S&P have changed. The weights have changed. The S&P today is not the same S&P from 10 years ago. That S&P is non-existent anymore. The name of the S&P is still here, but how it's weighted, how many companies, the type of companies that are in it are different. So you guys want to keep this in mind when you're investing. Invest in things that are deflationary, and kind of have a grasp of what you're doing, right? You're gonna suck at first, but eventually you get good, right? You just got to stay in the game longer than the other guy, and if you can do that, trust me, you'll figure it out. You have to figure it out. That's how life works, right? So let's look at as well. So let's look at the fear and greed for Bitcoin. So currently, I personally don't use this as a trading metric for extreme fear and greed. Only when you get closer to the top of the market would I consider using it. But right now we are we're just neutral. So the price for Bitcoin, we're just kind of neutral, not sitting in extreme fear, not sitting in extreme greed. But you can see that normally when we are in this area here, so this was a COVID crash, when we're in this area here, you get up to extreme greed, you come back down. But once we pass the extreme fear, we start heading into a bull market. You know what I mean? We start heading back into the bull market. You have here extreme fear, boom, extreme greed, then pulled all the way back. But we are still in the beginning stages of the bull market. So where I believe we currently are is right here. So if we look at our BLX chart, if you look at our BLX chart here, guys, yeah, so where I believe, guys, where we're at is right here in the market cycle. So I'll highlight it for you. I believe we're right here in the market cycle. And I'm not trying to predict, or this is just trying to give us a little guidance to help us while we're investing. But I believe that we're around here from, this is 2019, so I still believe we're in 2019. 2019 is where we're at, and then next year will be 2020, and would be 2016, right? So that's kind of where I believe we're at in this market cycle. So currently, I would definitely encourage you guys to start studying and looking more at the charts, watching videos like this. But understand that we do have some ways to go before we start heading exponentially higher. We do have a lot more time than you think, especially with altcoins, right? Especially with altcoin. There we go. So yeah, let's look at the 10 versus 2 year right here. And as we have said, once we pull out of this area, so that the yield is inverted, we're inverted right now. But once we do come out, we will probably experience another market crash and a further deeper recession. So you just want to keep that in mind, guys, is that we are in a territory where the markets can rally. But once we get out of this, and it could be 2025, it could be 2026. Once we pull out, chances are the market will have a higher probability of crashing. And saying this, if we actually put the S&P 500 over, you can see when the yield inverts isn't necessarily when the market crashes, is when it comes out of the inversion is when the market crashes. So you can see here, red, orange is the S&P 500. So I have it marked up here for you guys. So if we look from 2000, the yield went underneath. Then once it actually inverted, after it inverted and came back up, then the market completely crashed. Same here in 2008, 2006. The market was still going up while the yield was underneath, but then once it uninverted, that's when the market crashed. So right here, right here, if the yield, whenever the yield uninverts back over zero, when the 10 versus 2 is uninverted, that's when we can anticipate the market to actually, have a steeper decline. That's what I'm looking for, and just paying attention to this. So right now, the yield inverted doesn't really mean anything, doesn't really matter. But once it uninverts, that's when we can anticipate the market to actually have a steeper decline. So right now, if we uninverted, let's say next month, then we can expect the S&P 500 to start, heading even lower, right? So we want to keep these things in mind, that the market is, the market's going to do what it's going to do. So we're just keeping an eye on these metrics to make sure that we can do the best we can with what we have, to make sure that we're investing diligently, with, more probabilities for us than against us, right? So keep this yield curve in mind, that when we do uninvert, that we can experience an even steeper pullback on the S&P 500, right? So that's really all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And tune in next time for another video about the markets, Bitcoin, and altcoins, and stay up to date on what's going on. Remember, this channel is for no FOMO, no fluff, no fear, just so you can get an idea of what's going on in the markets, so you don't get psyched in or out of the markets, because you work for your money and you want to make it work for you as well. So without further ado, guys, thank you for watching and enjoy your weekend.